Bennett Krause leaned back in his leather chair, examining his manicured nails while I stood there like a piece of furniture. The afternoon sun caught his Rolex as he finally looked up, that practiced smile spreading across his face. No raise for you this year, Amira. Second year in a row. Same rehearsed expression. Same dismissive tone. His Porsche keys sat on the desk between us like a monument to everything wrong with this picture. I'd brought in 23 new accounts. Saved the Keristan Dynamics deal when it was falling apart. Worked through my mother's surgery, my best friend's wedding, Christmas morning. 60-hour weeks had become my normal. Your performance just isn't meeting expectations, he continued, shuffling papers he wasn't really reading. Maybe next year. My throat tightened, but I kept my face neutral. Professional. The way women learn to be when the game is rigged against them. Celine, his assistant, stood in the doorway. She caught my eye for a split second, something unreadable in her expression. Then she looked away. Will that be all? I asked, my voice steady. That's all. He was already turning to his computer, dismissing me. Walking back to my desk, something shifted inside me. This wasn't just bad luck or tough times. This was deliberate. My name is Amira. 2 years, 2 raises denied, while my boss drove a car worth more than my annual salary. He thought taking credit for my biggest wins would go unnoticed, that I'd just accept being invisible. But here's what Bennett didn't know. He underestimated the wrong employee. And karma? She was about to collect. Stay with me, you'll want to see how this ends. I'd barely sat down when Celine appeared at my cubicle. She glanced around the office, then dropped a yellow sticky note on my keyboard. Dropped this, she said loudly, then walked away. One word in her handwriting, lunch. At noon, I found her at a taco place 2 blocks from the office. She'd chosen a corner booth, back to the wall, where she could see everyone who walked in. Her hands wrapped around her coffee cup like she needed the warmth. I shouldn't be here, she started. Then why are you? She bit her lip, then leaned forward. Because what he's doing to you is wrong. And I can't watch it anymore. My pulse quickened. What do you mean? The Keristan account, she whispered. He removed it from your sales list yesterday. Put it under his name in the system. The room seemed to tilt. Keristan was my biggest win, a $3 million account I'd spent 6 months landing. That's why you didn't hit quota, she continued. On paper, you're missing your biggest sale. I laughed, but it came out sharp and bitter. Of course. It all made sense now. The performance reviews, the missed quotas, the denied raises. There's more, Celine said, and her next words made my blood run cold. He rewrote your quarterly report, Celine said, sliding her phone across the table. This is what he sent to HR. I stared at the screen. My name was at the top, but nothing else was mine. 23 accounts had become 2. My revenue numbers had been slashed by 90%. Even my client testimonials were gone. How? My voice came out as a whisper. He has admin access to the reporting system. He changes the numbers after you submit them, then locks the files. She pulled her phone back, hands shaking slightly. I saw him do it last week. Took screenshots when he left his desk. The restaurant noise faded to a buzz in my ears. 2 years of this. 2 years of wondering why my hard work never showed up in my reviews. It's not just you, Celine added. I've seen him do it to Kai in marketing. To Jasmine in customer success. Anyone who makes him look bad by comparison. Why are you telling me this? She met my eyes. Because I'm tired of being complicit by staying silent. And because. She hesitated. Because I heard him on a call yesterday. He's planning to promote his nephew to your position. Says you'll be gone by quarter end. I sat back, mind racing. This wasn't just theft. This was a calculated destruction of my career. I need proof, I said. Celine nodded. Then we better start collecting it. That night, I stayed until the office emptied. Bennett's Porsche disappeared from the parking lot at 6:30, like always. The cleaning crew wouldn't arrive until 9. I had 2 hours. The shared drive was a maze of folders, but I knew where to look. 3 levels deep, in a folder marked Q3 reviews, I found them. The real reports. My reports. All 23 accounts listed, every dollar accounted for. But next to them were the edited versions. My name, his numbers. I took screenshots of everything. Then I dug deeper. Kai's reports were there too. The original showing his campaign that brought in $200,000 in new business. Edited version showing half that, with credit shifted to Bennett's oversight. Jasmine's customer satisfaction scores, 98% in the original, 70% in the edit. 5 employees total. All high performers. All systematically undermined. I printed everything, my hands steady despite the anger burning in my chest. Each page was evidence. Each page was proof that Bennett had built his success on our backs. My phone buzzed. Celine, security does a walkthrough at 8:30. Get out. I gathered the papers, cleared the print history, and walked out like I'd just been working late. Normal. Unremarkable. But in my bag, I carried the beginning of Bennett's end. 3 days passed before my phone rang with an unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Amira? This is Hollis Greer from Stoneford and Vale. Stoneford and Vale. Keriston Dynamics' biggest competitor. My pulse jumped. I hope you don't mind the cold call, he continued. But I've been hearing impressive things about your work with Keriston. I understand you're the real architect behind that relationship. I stayed silent, wondering who'd been talking. I'd love to discuss an opportunity with us. Senior Account Director position. Your experience with Keriston's industry would be invaluable. I'm flattered, I said carefully. But I'm not currently looking. I understand. But sometimes the right opportunity changes that. Can we at least have coffee? No pressure. I thought about Bennett's smug face. About my edited reports. About the nephew who'd be sitting at my desk soon. I'm considering my options, I said. I'll be in touch. Fair enough. But Amira? We know talent when we see it. And we know when talent is being wasted. After I hung up, I sat in my car for a long moment. This wasn't just about leaving anymore. If I played this right, I could walk out with Bennett's crown jewel, Keriston, and he'd never see it coming. The game had changed. And this time, I was playing to win. I became a ghost in my own office. Every lunch break, every coffee run, I gathered intelligence. Email threads, meeting notes, client communications, anything Bennett touched, I documented. Celine became my eyes when I couldn't be there. She'd text me warnings when Bennett was near, forward emails when he wasn't looking, even photograph documents on his desk. He's getting sloppy, she told me one afternoon. Bragging more. He told the regional director that Keriston's renewal is guaranteed. Said it'll push him over quota for the entire year. When's the renewal meeting? 3 weeks. He's already planning the celebration dinner. I smiled. 3 weeks was plenty of time. That evening, I pulled up Bennett's expense reports. Company dinners at 5-star restaurants. Golf outings charged as client entertainment when no clients were present. A weekend in Vegas listed as a conference that didn't exist. Then I found something interesting. An email thread with Keriston's CFO about their contract renewal. Bennett had inserted a clause that doubled his personal commission rate. No benefit to Keriston. No benefit to our company. Just Bennett lining his pockets. I forwarded it to my personal email, then deleted the forward from my sent folder. Another piece of evidence. Another nail in his coffin. Your work's been stellar lately, Bennett said the next morning, stopping by my desk. I looked up, keeping my expression neutral. Thank you. Keep it up. Good things are coming for team players. He walked away, whistling. He had no idea what was coming. I called Keriston's VP, Daniel Park, under the pretense of reviewing their service satisfaction. We'd built a solid relationship over the past year. He trusted me. How's everything going with the renewal? I asked casually. Fine. Though I have to say, that new commission structure Bennett proposed seems steep. My opening. New commission structure? He didn't loop you in? He wants to double the management fee. Says it's industry standard. That's interesting, I said carefully. Have you compared it with what other firms offer? Haven't had time. You know how it is. I do. Hey, just out of curiosity, have you ever looked at what companies like Stoneford and Vale charge? It's always good to know the market. He chuckled. We're happy with Westmark. Bennett takes good care of us. Of course, I agreed. He's very attentive to valuable accounts. I let that sink in. The seed was planted. After we hung up, I pulled up Stoneford's standard rates. 30% lower than what Bennett was proposing. I didn't send it to Daniel, not yet. But I saved it in a folder. Meanwhile, Celine forwarded me another gem. An email from Bennett to our CEO, taking credit for a presentation I'd created. He'd even removed my name from the file properties. The evidence folder on my laptop was growing thick. Every lie, every stolen moment of glory, every manipulated number. I had it all. Celine looked pale when she handed me her phone that Thursday. You need to see this. It was an email from Bennett to Keriston's entire executive team. The subject line, Strategic Account Management Update. I read it twice, my anger building with each word. Going forward, please direct all communications through me. Amira is a junior representative who assists with administrative tasks. I personally handle all strategic decisions and negotiations for your account. Junior representative. Administrative tasks. I'd been managing Keriston solo for 18 months. I'd saved their product launch when Bennett was on vacation. I'd flown to their headquarters 6 times on my own dime when Bennett wouldn't approve the travel expense. He sent this yesterday, Celine said. Right after you fixed their shipping crisis. The shipping crisis Bennett didn't even know about until I'd already solved it. He's erasing me, I said quietly. He's trying to, Celine corrected. But Daniel called the office today. Asked specifically for you. Bennett had to transfer the call. I looked at her. What did Daniel want? To thank you for the shipping solution. Said you saved them $200,000. A plan started forming in my mind. Bennett could try to erase me from emails and reports, but he couldn't erase the relationships I'd built. The trust I'd earned. Celine, I said. How would you like to help me write a different ending of this story? Hollis from Stoneford called again the next week. This time, I answered on the first ring. I've been thinking about your offer, I said. Excellent. When can we meet? It has to be discreet. I can't have word getting back to Westmark. Understood. How about dinner tomorrow? The Marina Club, private dining room. The Marina Club was 40 minutes away. No chance of running into Bennett there. The next evening, Hollis laid out an offer that made my current salary look like pocket change. Base pay was 30% higher. Commission structure that actually rewarded performance. And most importantly, full autonomy over my accounts. We value talent, he said simply. And we protect it. What about non-competes? I asked. We have excellent lawyers. Besides, client relationships can't be owned. If Keriston chooses to follow you, that's their decision. If Keriston chooses to follow. The words echoed in my mind. I need 2 weeks to wrap things up, I said. Take 3. We want you to start fresh, not burned out. We shook hands. I had a new job. Now I just needed to ensure I didn't arrive empty-handed. That night, I drafted an email to Daniel at Keriston. Not about Stoneford. Not about leaving. Just a simple question. Would you have time next week to discuss your long-term strategic goals? I have some ideas that might interest you. His response came within an hour. Absolutely. Coffee Tuesday. The pieces were moving into place. I became invisible in the best way. No complaints. No confrontations. Just quiet, efficient work that kept me off Bennett's radar. You've been different lately, he commented one morning. More focused. Just trying to be a team player, I replied. He nodded approvingly and walked away. If only he knew that my focus was documenting his every lie. Meanwhile, I met with Daniel twice that week. First over coffee, then lunch. Never once did I mention Stoneford or suggest Keriston leave Westmark. Instead, I listened to his frustrations. The commission increase doesn't sit right, he admitted. We're paying more for the same service. Have you voiced these concerns to Bennett? He says it's non-negotiable. Part of Westmark's new structure. I pulled out my phone, showed him an article about industry pricing standards. That's interesting. Most firms are actually lowering fees to stay competitive. His eyebrows rose. Really? The market's changing. Clients have more options than ever. I left it at that. No pressure. No pitch. Just information. Later, Celine slipped me another document, Bennett's presentation for the board next month. He was projecting Keriston's renewal as a done deal, using it to justify his promotion to regional director. He's all in on Karistan, she whispered. If he loses them. She didn't need to finish. We both knew what would happen. Tuesday's coffee with Daniel turned into a 2-hour conversation. He wanted to talk about everything: service concerns, pricing, Bennett's communication style. Can I be honest? He finally asked. Always. I don't trust him. Something feels off about the renewal. I stayed quiet, letting him fill the silence. That commission clause, he continued. I had legal review it. They said it's the most aggressive set of terms they've seen. No performance metrics. No service guarantees. Just higher fees. What do you want to do? I want options. But Bennett says Westmark is our only viable partner. I took a sip of coffee, choosing my words carefully. Daniel, you know I care about Karistan's success. You've been my primary focus for almost 2 years. You're the only reason we've stayed this long, he admitted. Then let me ask you something. If you could design the perfect partnership, what would it look like? He thought for a moment. Transparent pricing. Direct communication. A partner who understands our industry. Someone like... He paused, looking at me. Someone like you, actually. I appreciate that, I said. Your success matters to me. It always has. Which is why Bennett's email last week bothered me so much. Calling you a junior representative? That's insulting to both of us. I kept my expression neutral, but inside I felt vindicated. Daniel saw through Bennett's lies. Change is hard, I said simply. But sometimes, it's necessary. He nodded slowly. Yes. Sometimes it is. The countdown began. 2 weeks until my Stoneford start date. 2 weeks to ensure Bennett's carefully built house of cards came crashing down. Celine handed me a flash drive Thursday afternoon. Her hands were shaking. Everything, she whispered. Every one of his slips. 2 whole years of cold hard evidence. Celine, this could. I know what it could do to me. I don't care anymore. He made me schedule a meeting next week to discuss my future at the company. I heard him tell his nephew I'd be training my replacement. We were both disposable to him. Just stepping stones to his success. That night, I organized everything. The evidence from Celine. My documentation. The expense fraud. The contract manipulation. It painted a clear picture of systematic deception. But I needed to be strategic about the reveal. Too early, and Bennett might wiggle out. Too late, and innocent people would suffer. I created 3 packages. 1 for HR. 1 for the board. 1 for Karistan. The HR package focused on the altered reports and stolen credit. Clear policy violations. The board package highlighted the expense fraud and commission manipulation. Financial misconduct. The Karistan package was different. It showed them exactly how much Bennett had been overcharging them. How much he'd been lying to them. Each package was date-stamped for delivery. The truth would come out in waves, each one pulling Bennett deeper under. Monday morning, I sent the first package. Anonymous tip to HR, with just enough evidence to trigger an audit. By lunch, I could see the effects. HR representatives huddled in conference rooms. Bennett was called away from his desk 3 times. They're asking about discrepancies in the Q3 reports, Celine texted me. He's sweating. But Bennett was smooth. By the end of the day, he was laughing with the CEO, probably spinning some story about administrative errors. That's when Daniel called me. Amira, I need to ask you something directly. Are you planning to leave Westmark? I paused. Why do you ask? Because if you are, I need to know. Karistan's relationship is with you, not Bennett. I can't discuss specifics yet, I said carefully. But I promise you'll be the first to know about any changes. That's all I needed to hear. We're putting the renewal on hold. My heart jumped. Bennett won't be happy about that. Bennett doesn't get a vote. This is our decision. After we hung up, I saw Bennett storm past my desk toward his office. His phone was already ringing. The Karistan executives, no doubt. He emerged 20 minutes later, his face red. Amira, my office. Now. I followed him, keeping my expression neutral. What did you tell Karistan? He demanded the moment the door closed. About what? Don't play dumb. They're stalling on the renewal. I haven't told them anything, I said truthfully. Maybe they have concerns about the new terms? His jaw clenched. He knew I knew about the commission increase. Tuesday brought the audit into full swing. HR pulled employees in one by one. When my turn came, I played innocent. I just submit my reports, I said. I don't know what happens after that. But I made sure to mention discrepancies I'd noticed. Clients missing from my list. Numbers that didn't match my records. All documented confusion, nothing that pointed back to me as the whistleblower. Bennett grew more agitated as the week progressed. He snapped at Celine, slammed his office door, made phone calls that everyone could hear through the walls. We need Karsten locked down, he practically shouted Wednesday afternoon. Whatever it takes. That evening, he did something desperate. He showed up at Karsten's headquarters without an appointment, demanding to see Daniel. Daniel called me right after. Your boss just made quite a scene. Security had to escort him out. I'm sorry about that. Don't apologize for him. But Amira, I need to know. What's really going on over there? The truth is coming out, I said simply. About a lot of things. And you. I'll have news for you soon. Good news, I think. I hope so. Because we're ready to make some changes too. That night, Bennett sent a company-wide email about maintaining client relationships during transitional periods. He never mentioned the audit directly, but everyone could read between the lines. Thursday morning, I submitted my resignation. 3 sentences. Effective in 1 week. No explanation. Bennett read it twice, his face cycling through confusion, anger, and then something that looked like fear. You can't leave, he said flatly. I believe I can. Karsten won't work with anyone else. That's their choice to make. He stood up, pacing. This is about the raise, isn't it? We can revisit that. It's too late for that conversation. What do you want? Name it. I almost laughed. Now he wanted to negotiate? After 2 years of taking credit for my work? I want to leave professionally, I said. 1 week transition. No drama. And Karsten? I'll ensure all documentation is properly transferred. He knew what I wasn't saying. Documentation was one thing. Relationships were another. That afternoon, word spread quickly. My teammates stopped by my desk, some surprised, others knowing. Jasmine from customer success whispered, "Good for you." Kai from marketing said, "About time someone got out." But the real chaos started Friday morning. That's when the second package hit, the one to the board. And that's when Bennett's carefully constructed world began its final collapse. The boardroom door stayed closed for 3 hours. Through the glass, we could see Bennett gesturing frantically, papers spread across the table. The CEO's face grew darker with each passing minute. By Friday afternoon, the story was falling apart faster than Bennett could spin it. The board had the evidence. The altered reports. The stolen commissions. The expense fraud. But Bennett still thought he could salvage it. He emerged from the boardroom looking haggard but defiant. Misunderstandings, I heard him tell someone in the hall. Administrative errors. It's being corrected. That's when I played my final card. The third package went to Karsten at 4 p.m. Every email where Bennett claimed my work. Every inflated commission. Every lie he'd told them. Daniel called me within an hour. We're done with Westmark, he said simply. And Bennett Krause will never get another dollar of our business. I understand, I said. But we're not done with you. Whatever your next move is, Karsten wants to be part of it. Monday was going to be very interesting. The weekend passed in a blur of texts from colleagues. The audit had expanded. Bennett was under formal investigation. His nephew's arrival had been postponed indefinitely. Celine sent me a photo Sunday night. Bennett's parking spot with a different car in it. Temporary reassignment, she wrote. His Porsche got repossessed. Apparently, he was 3 months behind on payments. Living above his means on stolen success. It was almost poetic. Monday arrived with unusual energy in the office. Everyone knew something big was coming. They just didn't know what. At 9 a.m. sharp, 2 things happened simultaneously. First, HR sent an email announcing Bennett's transition to a non-client-facing role pending investigation results. Second, Karsten issued a press release announcing their new partnership with Stoneford and Vale, with me named as their dedicated senior account director. I wasn't there to see Bennett's face when he read it. But Celine was. He went white, she told me later. Then red. Then he just stood there, staring at his computer screen for 5 solid minutes. The news rippled through the industry within hours. Westmark's biggest client jumping ship to their main competitor. Following an account manager who'd been labeled a junior representative just weeks before. My phone buzzed with messages. Former colleagues congratulating me. Clients asking if I was taking new accounts. Even a few recruiters, late to the game, trying to make offers. But the best message came from Daniel. Champagne's on us when you start. Welcome to your new beginning. Bennett tried calling me 6 times that day. I didn't answer. There was nothing left to say. By Tuesday, word was out that 3 more of my former clients were considering the switch to Stoneford. Bennett's kingdom wasn't just crumbling, it was being rebuilt elsewhere, brick by brick. My last week at Westmark passed in a surreal haze. Bennett had been moved to a small office on the 2nd floor, a demotion in everything but name. His nephew never showed up. The promotion to regional director was quietly forgotten. I spent my days creating transition documents, though everyone knew it was pointless. My clients were already making their exit plans. Wednesday brought another surprise. Kai and Jasmine both submitted resignations. The audit had revealed what Bennett had done to their numbers too. They'd found new opportunities, better companies that would value their real contributions. You started something, Jasmine told me. We just needed someone to go first. Celine was promoted to office manager, finally recognized for essentially running the place while Bennett took credit. She promised to keep me updated on the aftermath. Thursday was my last client call from Westmark. I kept it professional, thanking each one for their partnership. Most asked for my personal contact information. I gave it freely. Bennett made one last attempt Thursday afternoon. He stood in my cubicle doorway, a shadow of his former self. I could have made you successful here, he said. I was already successful, I replied. You just made sure no one knew it. He had no response to that. He walked away, and I never saw him again. Friday, my final day, felt like a celebration disguised as a goodbye. The investigation results came out 2 weeks after I left. Celine sent me the highlights. Bennett had been formally terminated for cause. No severance. No references. His LinkedIn profile disappeared overnight. The expense fraud alone totaled over $100,000. The stolen commissions were triple that. 5 employees were getting retroactive pay adjustments and formal apologies. But the real damage was to his reputation. Word travels fast in our industry. Bennett Krause became a cautionary tale, whispered about at conferences and networking events. The executive who built an empire on stolen work, only to lose everything when the truth came out. Meanwhile, my first month at Stoneford exceeded every expectation. Not just because of the salary or the respect, but because I could finally work and be appreciated for it. Carriston signed a 5-year contract with Stoneford, specifically requesting me as their permanent point of contact. 3 other clients followed within 6 weeks. Daniel sent me a note with their first payment. This is what loyalty to the right person looks like. My new boss, unlike Bennett, introduced me as our secret weapon who brought half her books of business with her. No stolen credit or diminished titles. Just honest recognition. The difference was surreal. 3 months into my new role, I got an unexpected LinkedIn message. It was from Bennett. I know you won't respond, but I need you to know something. I see now what I did. I was wrong. You deserved better. I stared at it for a long time. Part of me wanted to respond, to tell him exactly how his actions had affected not just me, but everyone he'd stepped on. But I didn't. His recognition came too late, forced by consequences rather than conscience. Instead, I focused on building. My team at Stoneford grew from 1 to 6 within 4 months. All high performers who'd been undervalued elsewhere. I made sure their contributions were visible, their successes celebrated. Carriston's business grew 40% in our first quarter together. Daniel joked that they should have followed me years ago. We were paying more for less, he said during a strategy meeting. Bennett was so focused on his commission, he forgot about actually serving our needs. Bennett had thought he was stealing my success. He didn't realize he was teaching me my worth. Every denied raise showed me I was valuable enough to threaten him. Every stolen credit proved my work was exceptional. Every lie he told revealed how much he needed my talents to prop up his facade. In trying to diminish me, he'd actually shown me exactly how powerful I was. A year later, I was promoted to Vice President of Strategic Accounts at Stoneford. My clients had generated more revenue than any other portfolio. My team had the highest retention rate in the company. The announcement email went company-wide. Within minutes, my inbox flooded with congratulations. One message stood out. It was from Monica Rivera, Westmark's new CEO. Congratulations on your promotion. We should have seen your value. Our loss was Stoneford's gain. I smiled, but didn't respond. On a calm Monday morning, I walked into my office at Stoneford, corner space, windows overlooking the city, my name on the door. My assistant knocked, bringing coffee and the morning reports. 3 new clients interested in meetings. A speaking engagement request. An interview with Business Weekly about building client loyalty. But the item that made me light up was an email from Celine. She'd started her own consulting firm, helping companies build transparent cultures. Her first client? Westmark's restructuring committee. They want to make sure they never have another Bennett, she wrote. I told them it starts with valuing the people who actually do the work. I thought about that 23-year-old standing in Bennett's office, accepting less than she deserved. I wanted to tell her, hold on. Document everything. Your time is coming. But she figured it out on her own. She learned that sometimes the best revenge isn't dramatic or loud. Sometimes it's simply succeeding on your own terms, with your own talents, in a place that sees your worth. Bennett took my raises, my credit, and my recognition. But he couldn't take my relationships, my reputation, or my resolve. And in the end, those were worth more than anything he thought he was stealing. My phone buzzed. Another client to attend to. Another victory built on trust, not theft. I smiled, turned to my computer, and got back to work. Real work. Recognized work. My work. So that's my story. What would you have done? Craving more secrets, lies, and betrayal? This is just the beginning. Hit subscribe. You won't believe what comes next.